So here we are in week 13. So we have week 13, week 14, and then final exam. So we're down to it. So this week we just have to find the practice tests that some of you have already completed. I've gotten some responses from a couple of you who would like some help, and that's great. So we can do that. Lots of time available for me anyway to come in and help you with those issues and concerns. Just a couple of things to remember that when you're working with those parts, first thing you have to do is start with the information. And I have it up on my other computer or my other screen here. Let me bring that up so I can share my screen with you. And I'm going to share this screen. Remember that when we start, we want to make sure that we have all of this information in place. And this is usually where the first problems come into play. It's whether or not you have the correct units, your decimal places. When it says your part origin is arbitrary, as long as it's not asking for a center of mass, then that is actually true. If it's asking for a center of mass, then you have to have the same start point. And then you want to make sure that you get your global variables in here for this part. Example is A and B, so you make sure to get those right. I can't tell you the number of times myself that I've just fat fingered it and had, instead of 56 had 57 or 66 had 56. So make sure that you have those information correct. And then look at your material. Now, one thing that I didn't mention to you is that you can be off by 1% and still be considered okay. So you might have, for example, 44237. You're like, well, something's wrong. There's a margin of error that they'll give to you. So just make sure that you're within that 1%. But usually it's something really simple in the way that you modeled, and we can take a look at those things if you contact me with some issues. Again, we want to continue to practice assemblies, because that is the #1 area where most people who did not pass the CSWA had issue with. So let's make sure that we're doing the assembly, and you can do the same assembly multiple times. It's not like you can do it just once and say that's good. It's practicing about doing the same thing over and over again, getting into that habit of how quickly you can do it. And if you try to do it different ways, don't try to do it the same way every time. Maybe change up your mates. Instead of using a surface to surface, maybe use an offset surface or a center to circle to a center as opposed to a tangent. So there's lots of different ways to do it. You got to find out which way is quicker for you. So take a look at some of those things as well. So we have practice problem number 8. We have this is it's a moving table. So I've given you all the parts here. So we do have a center of gravity. So we know that we have to have our origin at the point. So if we can rotate this guy. There we go. So we do know we have to have our coordinate right on the end of that plate. Material does matter, but I gave you the material because I modeled it for you. So you're just going to have to make sure that you, that you make sure you have your information correct. Again, it comes down here to show you the true corner. And then here's the information that we need to maintain. So if we set all of this information up, along with our distances that it gives us, we should be able to come out with a correct answer. So again, you can try this multiple times. You submit it once, obviously, but you can do it as many times as you need to become proficient. And then, of course, there are some practice problems that I gave you before that there are more that you can get to. in the practice section, and it's not showing up right now because we're online. If you open up in Adobe Acrobat, I believe it does show up. Just waiting for it to open up here. There it is. So it gives us even more parts that are a little more difficult. Some of them we've done. Here's ones we are doing this week. So here's another one. So asking you some questions. So great information for you to use. Remember, you practicing the test is up to you. So make sure that you take the time that you need to make sure that you're ready to go. Let's look forward to next week. And next week we have the Grasshopper engine. I know we talked about this this last week, but with the Grasshopper engines, you are going to submit 3 things to me. So when we go to the Grasshopper engine here, when you submit that Grasshopper engine, there's 3 things that I'm looking for. So I need to have a step file of the just of the part itself. So your completed assembly will be a step file. And then you're going to have a PDF, and that's going to be a PDF drawing of the Elmer's engine with the top view, front view, and the right side view. And then a isometric or 3D view up in the right-hand corner, no dimensions, just the top, front, right side view. And then you are going to submit your motion study of the video. Let me get out of here real quick. How many people are familiar with motion studies, have watched the video and taken a look at that? No raising hands, no nothing. All right. So next week, I am going to, okay, Nate says he has. Next week, I'm going to go over the motion study, because again, we're looking forward. Next week, I'll have the motion study and how to actually do that. The video that I have right there will show you, but I'll go through it together with a motion study, and I'll have one set up so we can take a look at how we're going to do it and how to actually save the AVI file. So those are some things that you want to make sure that you have taken care of. So again, the 3 files that we're going to be looking for next week is, one is a step file, just your assembled Elmer's engine as a step file. Remember that if you try to send me an assembly, I can't see it. But if you save that assembly, you have your part completely assembled, and then you go save as, and save that as, and go up into, I got to remember what it is here a second, so I'm looking at my other screen. Let's see, file, save as. And it has to be a step. Yeah, I'll share my screen so you can see it here. Where are we? Oh, shoot. I can't tell what screen you're looking at. Can someone tell me, are you looking at my SolidWorks screen?
We're looking at SolidWorks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So what we're looking for is this step AP203. Again, I don't know why that's the one, but that's the one. So when you save that, it's going to convert all of your parts into step files, and then I can see them. I can't take them apart, but I can do all of the verifying and everything that I need to do with your assemblies in that step file, and I can see them. Now, it does change things. So you're going to keep your assembly, but the step file just allows me to look at it and do the things that I need to. And then, of course, there's the AVI file that you'll need to submit as well. And we'll talk about that next week moving forward. And then next week, I will also have all of the test codes open for next week so that you can take any time that you want. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, go to my calendar here. And we'll share. There we go. Thank you. So, here we are, Easter Monday. So week 13, week 14, you have your assembly file. And because of the change with SolidWorks only being 14 days, you can start taking your final exam anytime that you want to. So if you feel like, and I'm not going to put them up until Monday because I have to go in and get those tests yet. I get the test codes. So I'll actually, maybe I'll put those up. Just keep checking. I'm going to see if I can get those up maybe today. And if not today, tomorrow, probably today. And then you can go in and take your test anytime that you feel like you're ready. They're good for 30 days. Remember, that is your final exam. If you already passed the test, you can't take it again. So if you've already taken it and passed it, then you don't take it again, and the system won't let you. So I will set that up so that you can start taking those tests. I'm pretty sure I can get it done today with no problem. So we will find that. Let me bring a screen over to you here. So right underneath the, you can't see it, but you will be able to read the final exam. These are old codes from my last class. So I'll have those codes in here for you again, just like we did before, that you can copy and paste into the testing system. I will also have a link, that link that will take you right to the testing center. Oops, didn't want to do that. A link that will take you right to the SolidWorks testing location so you can log in and take that final. And you can do that whenever you're ready. So those are the only things that we have left to do. So we have just a practice test, your Elmer's engine parts, and then your final test. Stop sharing here a minute. And today in your email, you should have gotten an email saying that we're doing evaluations. Those are all, I just got a whole slew of them in mind. It is very important that you do those evaluations. There's a lot that we need to learn from this situation. So if you would please, at some point today, tomorrow, fill those out. We get to see those eventually, but there's a lot of information that the college needs to learn from you in your experience from your end of how this all worked. I know that none of you signed up for an online class, but you all are now taking all of them this way. So how did I do? How did it work for you? What were the pros, the cons? All of this is good information. Whether we'd like to hear or see what the responses, it's all important. So please take some time and fill out those surveys and send those in and help us be more prepared so if this ever happens again. Okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, worries, wonders?
For those that you said that have already passed the CSWA, we can't retake it. Are we still able to do the practice?
Yeah.
Or did you? Sorry, go ahead.
But you don't need to practice. If you want to, you can do whatever you want. But the system.
I just didn't know how you were putting it into the grading scale for that. If you were going to be.
Well, the practice test, practice 5 and 8, that's part of the assignment for this week. Yeah, you have to do those. But those, there's other ones in there. But if you've already passed the CSWA, if I were you, I wouldn't. You've already passed it. Practicing is really for those people who have not yet passed it and they want to continue. With the exception of this week with the practice number 5 and number 8, those are actually 2 assignments for this week to turn in.
Yep.
So for you and anyone else who's already passed it, you'll do what you would have left. Then you would have the practice 8 and practice number 5. Then you would have your Elmer's engine, the AVI, the step file, and the PDF, and then that's it, and you're done. So double check your grades. make sure that your final exam shows in there. It should be 180, 160 points, I believe 80 and 80, before anything goes, sideways. So, hey, I'm good. If you have a question, shoot me an email and we'll take a look at it and make sure we get everything taken care of. All right, so we got some questions. Kong says, so we have to take all the parts from the engine. Yes. So Kong, so what we are going to do is you are going to make a complete assembly. So all those pieces, parts that you made, now you're going to put those all together in an assembly. And if you take a look at my video, let me open it up real quick here. For some reason she's going kind of slow. Yeah, I'll show you in a second. Nate says, how long is the weldment? I'm open on the weldment assignments. Everything's going to be open up through the end of next week. So everything but the final exam will be open up through next Sunday. So everything has to be turned in by next Sunday with the exception of your final exam. You have until final exam, quote unquote, day to finish that. Kong, so you wanted to see if I can pause this thing here real quick. It's given me some problems trying to get it to play. Oh, here it is. So Kong, when you get done, you're going to have your Elmer's engine that's going to be assembled, and it's going to look just like this. Now, this is the AVI file. So with the AVI file, we're going to be able to play this thing and actually get that thing to move. So the video I have shown right here is just a demonstration on how to get that to work. But that's kind of what it's going to look like right there. Let's see. So Kong, so you're saying that you missed some of the information. That means you're going to have to fix your parts. All the information's on the drawing. You're just going to have to take a look at it and fix them. Michael, next week the 26th. Let me just verify that real quick. I don't want to. Where did my calendar go? Yes. So next Sunday, everything's due next Sunday, the 26th. Our final exam was supposed to have started. We actually would have started it on the 22nd because we would have done it in a two-part sit down. But it would have been, let's see, DR190. Our final exam day is the 29th. So the 29th at 12:30 is when it's supposed to be done. Let's see. Any other questions out there? Okay, so if you have no other questions, that's what I have for you. Hopefully everybody's still healthy and safe and ready to get back to the real world in another 3 more weeks. This is ridiculous, but hey, hang in there, hang tough. Make sure that you fill out those surveys. Let's finish up strong. I think I had everything graded last night before I went to, about 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. I had everything graded. So up until last night at 10 o'clock, everything should have been graded. So we will talk to you guys again next week at 11 o'clock. If you have any other questions, again, if you need to zoom in, let me know. I'll zoom in. We can take a look at your parts. We can talk any issues you have through. We can give you some suggestions lots of those things are very helpful when we can just work face-to-face digitally anyway. Okay? All right, so if you guys have no other questions, that's all I have. And we'll conclude our meeting, and we'll meet again next week.
I have a question about the Grasshopper engine.
Yep.
Do you have the 2018 files for it?
Yeah, I will send those to you, Katie.
Okay.
Because honestly, I don't know how old they are, so I will send those to you. I'll put those in. I'm actually going to put that on the on Blackboard, and I'll put that in a file for you that you can take a look at. And then,
Okay,
then you can tell me, because I don't remember. I didn't make them last year. I think it was the year before. I can't remember what version I made them on, but it's still the same version, so you should be able to open those. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so I will get to work on those codes and that stuff for Katie, and we will talk to you guys next week.